getting up in the morning to know that all I can do is just eat some food and then go back on the couch and sleep, it really felt like a waste of life. I felt like I couldn't do anything. I had wasted so many years of life.
Welcome to the Women Talk podcast, where ordinary women share their extraordinary stories. We would love for you to share your story on our podcast. Go to www.womentalk.ca and apply to share your story. And now let's welcome your host, founder, and CEO of Women Talk, Brigitte Lessard-Deyell.
Welcome back to the Women Talk podcast, where ordinary women share their extraordinary stories. Today, my guest is Michelle Post. Michelle is a Women Talk director and an extremely high-energy, outgoing, extrovert woman. But little did we know that Michelle has suffered from years of extreme fatigue. Her journey to finding answers was a long, difficult one. Let's listen to her story.
We just got engaged, and all of a sudden I couldn't do anything. I was already 37 years old when we got married, and I was utterly exhausted all day, every day. I had just gotten together with this beautiful man, and I was scared out of my mind that he would start to think that I was just plain lazy and that he would leave me. I tried to show that I was going to be a great wife to the best of my ability when he got home from work, but during the day, I could barely stay awake. I would get out of bed at probably 10 or 11 o'clock, and then I would go to the couch and sleep until early afternoon. I had no energy, and it was devastating. I just stopped working at the law firm, and I was starting to burn out even there. It had gotten so bad that I couldn't see anything in front of my face. Someone would ask me to go get a book off the shelf that I had just put away, and all of a sudden I couldn't see where it was. I had worked there for 5 years. I was amazing at my job, but I was losing it. I was grateful to stop working there. Yay. And I had so many plans on everything else that I wanted to do with my life. Be a life coach, help people, serve people. But as soon as I stopped working, my body stopped working too. I was so grateful that the man married me anyways. I needed his help during that time. And that was also something I'd never had before. I was extremely elated and always still wanted to be more than a wife who sleeps all day for him. I was exhausted. I would wake up in the morning with angry thoughts racing through my head until I got my coffee, and even coffee was burning out. It was one of the biggest things, is all the negative thoughts in my head that kept going on and on and on, and I would think nasty thoughts all day long. I'd gone to the doctors and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. All my hormones were normal, everything was normal. So it was all in my head, so I must be depressed. And Lord knows that's exactly how I felt. I was very depressed. So I did start studying nutrition, and for other reasons. I started it for Crohn's disease, as I have a history with Crohn's disease. We were trying to have a child, so there's fertility. We were trying to have a baby, and Lenny, my husband, was diagnosed with fatty liver. So there was a lot of reasons to actually start looking at nutrition lifestyle. But I also found out a lot about adrenal fatigue, and I fit the entire category. I was exhaustion, negative thoughts, inability to see things that are right in front of you, sore shoulders and neck, and believe it or not, constantly yawning. I remember even at the law firm, I couldn't stop yawning. I had quit smoking years before, and I couldn't stop yawning. These are all symptoms of adrenal fatigue. So I started to do the work. I had to change so much of my lifestyle. So no more stimulants. I did like my alcohol on the weekends. So that had to go for a while. Also the coffee. I would drink a big cup of coffee to get my adrenals going, to stimulate me to do stuff. And as soon as I drank that coffee, I was extremely burnt out. Caffeine had no bearing on me whatsoever and burnt me out even further. Foods that were sugary or high in sugar, also stimulants. I had to get rid of that. So that was really hard to start getting rid of those things because I really believed that they were helping me. I started taking superfoods as well that help rebuild energy levels. Adrenals don't naturally just build themselves. They actually need time and they need extra help. So these superfoods, there's many teas, there's many different types of foods out there that I started putting in my regular shakes and smoothies and such every day. So it did take years to get my energy back up to a normal level. And it's miraculous. From where I was so scared back then. I was really thinking that I was never going to make it very long in my life with that kind of exhaustion, with my relationship or anything. And just turning over the new leaf of my lifestyle was just, again, miraculous. I'm a very clever person. And to get back being clever, that was very inspiring and also motivating, wanting me to keep on that road to better adrenals and better energy. The negative thoughts were so much more controllable that I could actually start using tools of being a life coach. And yes, I did take the life coaching courses. So that was really great. I couldn't use the tools during my exhaustion, but I can definitely use them now. So when I do have negative thoughts or situations that come up, I am able to calm myself down to a point that I can think rationally where I couldn't before. I was also able to start my own business. So super happy, because that again was something that I was told that would never happen for me. I couldn't be more grateful for what I can do now and how to manage any of these debilitating health issues. My husband and I, our relationship is at an all-time high. So we still are working diligently on making the best relationship, open communication, everything absolutely wonderfully possible for us, all due to the lifestyle change that nutrition brought in.
In 1996, futurist Rolf Jensen predicted that the highest paid person in this century would be the storyteller, regardless of occupation. Well, he was right. One of the best ways to grow your business is by sharing your story. And the best and safest place to share your story is at Women Talk. Become a Women Talk member today and change not only your life, but the lives of the women around you. Go to www.womentalk.ca/membership for more information. It must have been so awful to be tired like this all the time.
It was absolutely debilitating. I didn't want to think that my husband would leave me and then I'd have to go on welfare, because I couldn't do anything. I didn't feel like I could work, but again, I wouldn't be able to qualify for anything because the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with me.
Now, question, did you always have issues even as a kid with being tired?
I do recall that in the summer times, I did have some issues with being tired. The funny thing is I do like my body in motion, which is really a lot of fun, but I do get exhausted, and I did after doing exercise. So I didn't really like that as a kid so much. I loved it as a young adult before all of this happened.
So as a teenager, were you okay, or did you have issues?
Depression issues, negative thoughts. I did not have a family support. So it was really difficult for me to find a good way to showcase myself. I did turn to a lot of, again, stimulants. Smoking was a big part of my life as well. I didn't have any tools on how to deal with life. And that's also a big issue when it comes to adrenal fatigue, is really learning how to manage stress. So without those tools, smoking was a big deal. I didn't start drinking until I actually turned 18, so that was fun. And drugs never worked well for me. So,
well, that's a good thing.
Right.
So do you think it's all related? Stress and the anxiety and the depression and the adrenal fatigue, do you think it's all related?
Oh, absolutely. It all comes together. It's like a catch-22. So I do have a history in my family with mental illness and depression. And so the depression itself and negative thoughts and scary situations can cause the adrenals to become exhausted. They use the energy that they have in them. So at the same time, because my adrenals were so small or not working well, I was prone to thinking negative thoughts as a stimulant to get whatever energy in them to start using it so I could actually function. So a lot of people do that. It's really quite interesting. The negative thought patterns really could simply be exhaustion.
Very interesting. So how would you describe your being tired and fatigued compared to normal?
Oh, wow. Well, my normal kind of fluctuates. So I do feel ecstatic when I'm around other people. Being an extrovert is just a lifeline for me. I love people and their energy. They keep me going for quite some time. The exhaustion really is to the point like I can't read. I have a very difficult time reading. 10 minutes, I'd read the same paragraph over and over and over again and not understand or know what I've even read.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Yeah. Getting up in the morning to know that all I can do is just eat some food and then go back on the couch and sleep. It really felt like a waste of life. I felt like I couldn't do anything. I had wasted so many years of life, of not being able to go out with the gang, not being able to enjoy any type of things. I've never traveled before then. That was always very scary because as soon as I travel, that's all I want to do is sleep for the first 3 or 4 days. Even that was exhausting to me. So it really just a waste of life and not the support. I heard that a lot from my family of origin, waste of space. So that kind of tied in with the negative thoughts.
So you're 37 and you're like, okay, I have to do something. So how did you, is that when you realized that it was adrenal fatigue? And how did you find the answers as to what was going on with you?
Interesting because I was fatigued for a very long period of time, and I started reading books and books and books, of course, for fertility, but finding out so much about the adrenals and what they're actually about, and finding out that I was absolutely exhausted from them. I had no energy in them. So really, it was my journey into fertility to create better fertility at a later age. That made me understand what the heck the adrenals are all about and how much they're used. They help with regulation of weight, metabolism, and thyroid, and so many things inside the body. And a thyroid, fertility, it all links together.
Yeah. So what was your biggest moment?
Fear. The fear of being exhausted all the time. Honestly, I can't handle fear. I don't like anxiety. Really the catalyst to get me to start doing stuff.
Did you, were doctors really supportive and helpful, or did you find that they really didn't get you and what was going on?
There was no support from doctors. In fact, I've had doctors walk out of the room on me when they find out that I do nutrition. They won't help me at all.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I just think that they don't understand nutrition inside the body. And so they don't know me well enough to understand that I believe we work together as opposed to it's either nutrition or allopathic care. So they don't know me and, I don't know them.
So the good news is it sent you on a whole brand new path that you never thought you would get on.
Yeah, that was definitely a massive path. My life journey really now is about accumulating energy, and I still do things that exhaust myself, and I'm so grateful that I know what to do to get myself back to a place where I have regular energy so I can work my business, so I can go out and be a director.
Yeah, because you are a Women Talk director. You have a chapter, so you're all about stories too now.
Exactly. I love them. I absolutely feel empathy towards other people. That was another thing that I couldn't feel for other people was empathy when I was so tired and I was so depressed and in my own depression state. It's really hard to feel that way for others. So I actually thought that I was quite the narcissist at that time.
Oh, that's funny. But you know what? One thing that's funny, I know you personally, and you're very high energy when you're around people. So it must have been really confusing to people when you tell them you're suffering from this and you get so exhausted.
I don't think people believe me. I get tired.
And is that normal for people that you can be like super high energy and then there's nothing?
For extroverts, yeah, I think so. Like even working at home by myself, a lot of the times I'll get tired because I don't have other people's energies. Like even doing this right now with you is going to keep me awake and alive and excited for hours.
And you can bring you a coffee.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I'll take a nitro brew. Seriously.
Too funny. So tell me, you're talking a little bit in your story about the superfoods.
Yeah.
Tell me about superfood. Which one do you like? Why? Like what are superfood and what
Awesome.
people go after?
Right. Yeah. So I got a whole bunch from the Light Cellar. I think I got a lot of adrenal education from them. They have classes and such, and they have some wonderful superfoods.
I'm sorry, from where?
The Light Cellar up
Light
north.
Cellar. Okay.
Yeah, they are amazing.
And that is in Calgary, Alberta,
yes.
Canada. Okay.
Yeah, you betcha.
But there's probably, so is it a whole, like a health food store or?
I would say it's beyond. Like
Yeah.
so I do nutrition and they do all the things that are like massively boosting foods.
So tell me a couple.
There's rhodiola, schizandra, astragalus. There's an adapting gems tea. There's chaga mushrooms that actually are really good to help replenish.
So let's back up a bit because you've said a couple of things. I have no clue what you're talking about.
I know, right?
So what are those? Are they herbs? Are they actual food? Are they all mushrooms? Like what are those?
Yes, all of the above. Chaga mushroom is a mushroom, and it's considered king of the mushrooms, and it helps myriad of so many different things inside the body, including help to replenish the adrenals. That's one of the amazing boosters that it have. The specific ingredients or the specific things in it, I'd have to go research so I can tell you. But it does have nutrients in it that help to boost the adrenals. So adrenal boosting is like, it's not like caffeine. So caffeine really is, oh my God. So it's when I'm extroverted and around too many high people, then yeah, I get super. But it's like I can do stuff. I can just do stuff without any negative thoughts in my head saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. You're going to get tired. Oh, think of how sore you are right now. It just stops my eyes from swelling up and getting exhausted. So that way I feel I have to close them. So chaga is one of them. Astragalus, to me, tastes like dirt.
Oh, lovely. Let's get some dirt.
But I find when I take that one, my adrenal support is very instant. It's like I feel regular energy very quickly, as opposed to taking weeks for them to start to replenish themselves. So that's a good one. So yeah, there's a myriad of different herbs that they have. Root vegetables have a lot of, and their kinds. Maca is another adaptogenic herb. It's a root vegetable, and it's really excellent to help balance the body. So really on adaptogens is what they're actually called. Wherever your body is, they seem to know where to go to help replenish you in whatever area you need, not the area that I need. So if you need, so some people have high adrenals, so they need to calm down. There are also calming herbs and adaptogens out there that they can use to help calm their energy levels. So,
fascinating. So obviously now you have a new passion. Tell me a little bit about you. What do you do and what's your business all about?
Awesome. I actually do holistic nutrition, and I work with the world-renowned metabolic balance program, and that is with just using food. Of course, other things I can add in being a holistic nutritional consultant here in Alberta. Again, superfoods if somebody needs it, if they do have adrenal fatigue, and I can recommend those things because I know. So I use metabolic balance as just food where it does help women. I love working with women, reset their metabolism and rebalance their hormones. And one of the hormones is actually called FOXA2, which is not, as again, it's an energy hormone that a lot of people lose later on. And it's, again, it's just one that once it gets reset, I feel like going for a jog, and there's nothing telling you can't. So
Nice.
you just do it. And that was an exciting one for me to come up with and have that one rebalance.
So as far as people around you, your customers and clients, tell me a success story. How did it unroll?
Well, I've had one recently, a beautiful girl. She's on her process of losing like 150 pounds, and she's done her first 44, so that's phenomenal. She would great work. She does podcasts, I guess, and she would fall asleep at her computer a lot. So I've been to numerous different conventions with her where her head is down, or she does the jolt because she's exhausted. And so she started doing the program, and I did tell her to take some of the specific supplements for adrenal fatigue. And so that was enough for her, so that she's actually awake now during the day and asleep at night, because it is a catch-22. So not only she released the weight that she's wanted to, but these hormones are actually working for her as she's rebuilding her energy, and she's definitely more productive in her own business.
So what's your favorite part of your job, of your company?
Oh, what I love is women who complain about menopause and hot flashes.
Oh, good gosh. And there are a lot of those women. Thank God I am not one of them. I escaped all of it.
You're super fortunate. My favorite is working with them, because in the first 2 weeks of working with the program, I warn them that they need to have an extra sweater.
Because they're walking around half naked all the time.
They're cold. Like, they need an extra sweater because their hormones rebalance themselves in the first 16 days. And that is where the hot flashes all of a sudden go down, and a huge weight release. And so that extra insulin isn't there keeping the heat in, and all of a sudden they're cold. So,
that's funny.
Oh my gosh, I've had many of the online Zoom meetings with my people, and they're wearing toques. And,
Are they doing the meetings in the snow?
No, they're cold all of a sudden, so they get to wear all these wonderful clothes in the winter time, but they're cold. No more hot flashes.
Too funny. Okay, so before I let you go, and we talk about how people can get a hold of you, tell me, what do you like most about Women Talk?
Oh my God. I love the community of support. For me specifically, I think you've heard in this story, I have not had a lot of support in my life. Brigitte, I've told you some very special things that, I have not had a lot of support. And I find that women go there to be supportive.
Yeah.
And so that creates the safe space for me specifically to be exactly who I am. Whether I'm an extrovert, whether I'm having a good day, a bad day, everybody is there just allowing me to be exactly who I am. And that's just never, ever been part of my life before. I've always wanted it, but I've never found it. And
I love that, because I think that is a difference between our networking group and other networking group. Is the women that come to Women Talk are there to give support, not receive often.
Oh my God.
Love that. Now tell me, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way?
You can go to the website, www.healthnow.today, or you can email me at Michelle@making, MAKING -strides, STRID as in dog, ES.ca.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for this great podcast and great information, and have a wonderful, full of energy day.
Yay!
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you have a burning desire to share your story with our audience, apply to be on our podcast. To apply and find a full list of our podcasts, go to www.womentalk.ca.